Alright, here's another video. Okay, I got an Aspire. It's an Acer Aspire V5 552P. Apparently a lot of Acers are doing this, but okay, as you can see, I've already gotten started. But basically what happens is alright. Okay, so now this cover was on here, and all I did was go through with the really small screwdriver, and I did all the screws. Alright, on this particular model, there's no panels that lift off. Some of them you'll have little spots where you can pull certain parts off, but not the whole thing, and then to get the whole thing off, you do all the screws. So you undo all the screws, and you kind of just stick your finger in there, and it pops a little bit. It might be snapped on there a little bit, depending on your computer, but relatively they'll pop off. It seems a little scary, but it's not too bad. I left all my screws in there so I would know where they were, although I'm pretty sure they're all the same size. Okay, then I got 3 there. Alright, so now I just kind of laid this in here to show you how I had this, or how this was in here. Almost don't lose my screws there. Okay, so, alright, now here's your hard drive, here's your fans. Basically what's happening is your fan's overheating, or it's clogged, or both, and apparently these Acers are famous for it, and I'm sure that other computers do the same thing. Okay, so now these fans are stuck together with this bracket here. There's a little metal bracket. Okay, so 1, 2, I think that was 2 on this side, and they don't pop out on this one. There's a little piece that keeps the screws in there so you don't lose them. Okay, and then as you can see, I'm sorry I keep missing it, 1, and then there would be 2, but I didn't do that side yet. Okay, same thing over here. 1 screw, 2, 3, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then here's a big one. Okay, bigger one. Alright, so now what I did, and then there's 3 screws here. So basically all the screws you see connecting. Now these were here. Alright, I'm sorry I keep doing that to you. Very horrible camera work today. Okay, so this was in here. And okay, 1 here, 1 on the other one. Alright, and they just snap right on there. As you can see, if you look close at it, if I can focus here, come on. Come on. Yeah, it keeps thinking I'm hitting something else. Anyway, I can't get it to focus in, but as you can see, the little thing that just kind of snaps right on there. Alright, see, and that's it. So I pulled them off. Now, you should take a picture first so you make sure that you connect wires where they're supposed to be. Alright, but now some people tell you, this is from the back, you can see this when everything's on, and some people tell you to blow in here, take a straw, blow it in there, take a can of air, blow it in there. It's really not the way to do it, because you're going to continue to have this problem, you know, a couple days later, a week later. Okay, as you can see, this is all dust filled up in here. Alright, now if I spray a can of air in there, I actually might spin this so fast that it's not rated to spin that fast, and you could ruin it. Okay, so instead what I'm doing is I'm taking it out. Alright, so now the whole thing lifts off. Stuck here, like that. Alright, so this wire right here was just intertwined in here, up and down, weaved like a basket. Okay, so now because I undid the tiny screws, now this one will flip over. This one I didn't undo the tiny screw. There it is. So the bracket stuck to the fan. Okay, so this is the fan itself. Alright, and I already started, but this is all the dirt that came out of there. Okay, so now I don't want to ruin this fan, so I have an old dog toothbrush that we bought and we never used. So, you know, this is what I'm doing, okay? I'm using 2 hands, and I'm holding the fan still as I'm giving it a light brush. You want to be real careful because, like I said, you don't want to ruin this because then you're going to be buying a new one. It's only, I think it's like $30 to buy the whole set. So, I mean, some people, they're already in here, they're going to buy a new one. But there's nothing wrong with this fan. It's just filled up with dust, and the next one's going to fill up with dust too. So, why would I spend the money? So, basically, all I'm going to do is brush this out as well as I can, and then a little will help it out. You know, we'll just blow on it. If you have a can of air, that's fine. Just hold the can of air away from it. You don't want to spray it directly in there and ruin everything. But as much as that you can get out of there, the better. And then the same thing over here. Gotta flip it back over. Okay. I don't know why my camera won't focus. This is horrible camera work today. I apologize. Okay, so now I'm going to have to do this with 2 hands, I think, because I need to put some pressure on here. Actually, it'd probably be better if I use the right screwdriver. Alright, I need 2 hands. Okay, so here's the little screw, really tiny. Came out of there, put it with the rest. Okay, now, same thing. I think that's the last one on this one. Okay. So now I'm going to flip it over again. Alright, now there's another screw right here. So I'm going to take that off now. And then now, I believe this is a special kind of electrical tape that won't, you know, that'll stay sticky. And it won't obviously conduct any electricity because, I mean, not the tape does, but I believe it's special on here. I'm not really sure. So instead of trying to put regular tape on here, it's going to melt and whatnot, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to peel this a little bit off and leave this on, and then leave it where it's connected under there. And then all I'm going to do is flip this up or the other part down, whichever. I'm going to separate the two. Okay, so another screw. Alright. Now if I can save this I will, but not that worried about it. Okay, now, as you can see, all I have to do is lift on that. Alright, now it's the other side was taped a little bit, but I didn't rip the tape off. I just kind of pulled it until it's separated enough where I could still use that tape. I mean, if you have some tape, it's no big deal. But regular electric tape, you know, when this all gets hot, like this will melt. This is special tape. It's not gonna. It's gonna take up for a little bit. It'll stand for a little more heat. Okay. Now, right there next to my thumb, okay, that's a little clip there. Alright, so you're just gonna stick something under there and pry that up, and then I'll finish separating. Okay, and it does not look like there's one on the other side. Okay, now like I said, you're gonna be very careful with this because you're trying to save this. Okay, now see, it opens right up. As you can see, my camera is not working today. All this, that's all that junk. Right? That's all keeping everything from getting out. Which means there's some, my other finger's in the way, back here. Okay, this is also vent holes. Going right through here and coming out the back here. Okay, so I'm going to brush all this out of here easily, softly, I'm sorry. And then same thing through there, alright? That's all I'm doing is giving it a good cleaning, blow it out. Just get all that dust out of there that's keeping it from spinning properly, and it's also getting the hot air stuck inside the computer where it can't expel. So that's really my main problem. It's not that the the computer is overheating, it's just, it can't get rid of the heat. So there we go. I'm gonna start dusting. Alright, I just wanted to give you a better look here under the light. There we go. See, can't see hardly any air or any light going through the other side. Okay, and this is actually the clean side. The other side was worse. So this is probably the only thing that was letting my computer run for a little bit. Alright, so as you can see, it's a lot cleaner. And all I did was give it a little dusting. Alright, and now if we come over here, let's see if we can get that. Oh, I gotta clean that a little better. But alright, now what I'm going to do is, I don't know if I can get this on camera good enough, but what I'm going to do is sorry, I don't know if I was holding the camera the right way or not, but I'm basically just playing that thing like a harmonica. Now, you don't want to get any spit or anything in there, obviously, but let's see if I can get the camera on this here. Alright, oh look, much better. Alright. See, get a little spin there. Same thing on the other side here. Let's see here. Look at that, much better. Still doesn't look all that great, but hey, you know, better than buying a new one, and that'll work for a little while. Plus, hopefully once the fan turns on, blow some of that out of there. Now, just because if you're going to blow through it with your mouth, I would just recommend that you just make sure you didn't blow any spit or anything in there. This is electric, but alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start putting this thing back together. Okay? Alright, so now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to snap back together, which I think I already did. Pretty much went in there really easily. And then once you put the tiny screws on, that'll stay in there. Okay? Same thing over here. Make sure I get that focus here. Get that little thing in the slot there. And I'll put in the little tiny screws. Alright, I'm still putting the screws in, but I just wanted to show if you don't have a magnetic screwdriver, it's a pain in the butt, but I just want to show you if you hold it on there like that with one fingernail, sometimes I can do this at the same time. There we go. Oh, and I knocked it right out. But anyway, that's how I'm doing it. It takes a little bit of time. They're really small. Okay. Now, as you can see, okay, you got the screws in. Okay. Took a little doing, but they're in. Okay, now what I do is this one in here. Okay. Right here, as you can see, gets weaved in. Over, under, over, under. Over, under, under, I'm not sure. But it gets weaved in. Okay. Alright. So now, okay, this wire goes behind the plastic, under the plastic, under the plastic. This one has a double spot, so it goes behind, and it goes over. And this one, as you can see, I push it into here. Okay, push it into there, and it weaves along, and it's going to go in this second slot. And then the only other thing I want to do is I want to slide this under here. Okay, so so that's going to be there. And as you can see, everything went into its place. This whole thing is not in its place yet, though. Okay, so start just aligning this a little bit. And as you can see over here, this is one of the outlets for the power cord, I believe. Okay. So everything, for the most part nowadays, they make them so you can't put them in the wrong one, but you see, you just slide this down, clicks into place. Oh, sort of a click. Okay, now as I got everything starting to line up, start putting in the bigger screws a little bit. I just want to start them all. Okay. Okay, just doing them a little bit loose so that I can make sure I ran everything how it goes. Tuck this little wire in here. Okay, now what I want to do is move these out of the way so you can see here. And then all you have to do with this little piece, see it's got a little flat top on it. Okay, squeeze it, and I don't know if you could hear that click or not. It gives a little click. Okay, just want to make sure before what I want to do right here. So I want to make sure that that's in that crevice. So I lift it up a little bit. That's why I didn't want to put anything in permanently yet. So I want to make sure everything is out of the way. As you can see, out of the way, so it's not getting crimped or grabbed or poked or prodded. And it does not want to stay in there. Hold on. Alright, I don't know if you can see, but what I was doing wrong was, right, that was actually in, where is it? In here. Alright, there was actually two wires. One here, and the other one, let's see if I can lift this a tiny bit. Okay. The other one, see, I don't know if you can tell, but there's actually two wires in there. There's one here, and there's the other one. And, you see, oops, sorry. Okay. On one side of this metal is a wire, and then the other one's over here. But they're both wrapped separately, and then they come together for one wrapping. So this is actually two wires in here. Okay. So now I pushed it behind there, or in between there, I'm sorry, and then behind there. And as you can see, as you come around, everything wraps up nicely. But now that I have most of what I want, I'm going to start screwing these down, at least a couple of these big ones, just to hold it in place a little better here. No, not in place, I'm sorry. Okay. So now, as you can see, everything's coming along nicely. Alright, now I already remember from before how everything was set up, but now is the time that you would refer back to your photos. Okay, and like I said, you just push this on here. Don't force it. It's not on there, it ain't on there right. There we go. Sorry. Okay. So we got, where's that? All 1, 2, 3 plugs. Okay. All the screws are in over here. Remember the center screws. Okay. I believe this is just for a bracket. Hold everything together nicer. Okay, just go through and retighten the ones that I didn't do before. Tight. Okay. Now here is where I pulled off the tape before. See if I can get it to stick again. Not too bad. Okay, and then last but not least, do not forget to plug in the other side. Otherwise you'll have one fan working. Okay, so this is in here nice and tight. All the wiring's back to where it was. Nothing's in the way. Okay, and you just go through and make sure everything's back where it was when you started. Okay. Now, it wasn't part of my problem, but the other thing I did notice is this battery right here was not in. Probably from dropping the laptop or something like that. So, put that back in. Now, this is on my computer. This is the only thing that doesn't stay in there real tight. I think it's supposed to. I think this tab got bent, but it really doesn't matter. You just be careful when you're doing it. So now, make sure the vent holes go to the back where the fan is. Okay, now you're going to put this on. I already have my screws in here, so I don't want to lose them when I pop this on. Okay, but as you can see, just line this up here and you hear it snapping. Okay, just using one hand real carefully. So you can see where I've dropped it, so that's probably how that battery came out. Okay, I'm just squeezing real lightly as I go around. Some of these computers you have to do a little more. Oh, see, my screw popped out. I don't want to lose that. Okay. Now, just go around tediously and tighten up all the screws. I like to go around in a circle, that way you don't forget any. You go the circle and I do the middle ones. Just check that one more time. Okay. Coming down to the last couple of screws. Okay. Now, okay. Give her plug in. Back there somewhere. I haven't used this computer in a long time, as you can see. Got this other one running today too. Some old computers. I'm not a computer guy. I'm just a guy who does not like to pay people to do things. And this computer's been sitting for a while. It tried updating itself when it didn't have any Wi-Fi, and it wouldn't install all the drivers. So I took it home. I connected a separate keyboard and mouse and turned it on that way, and went in and installed the rest of the drivers and re-updated Windows, and that thing's running great now. It's in the middle of a defrag, but it's running great. It's actually on its second defrag, just because I haven't used it in a while and it was pretty far off. I wanted to make sure it got as close to perfect as possible. Okay, so there's the other computer that I use. Alright, so now back to this one. Alright, this power button's over here. I don't know if I described what was going on in the beginning of the video, but basically I would turn the computer on, it would run for a while, and then it would shut off. Just on its own, shut off. I'd be able to turn it back on, run for a couple minutes, and then shut off, and each time it'd get closer and less and less time that it would stay on, and then eventually just wouldn't even come back on. And I decided to go back at it today and started just playing around with it and couldn't remember what was wrong with it. And it turned off on me, and I realized it was overheating. I touched the back. I felt you could hear the fan kick on, and as soon as the fan would kick on, that's when it would die, because the fan knows it's not getting any air pushing out. Or I don't know if it's the fan or the computer or whatever. Like I said, I'm not a computer guy, but I noticed it was definitely overheating, so started taking it apart and looking at it and seeing if I could figure out what was wrong with it. And yeah, today's Tuesday, 16th. Let me put my password in here. And there it is. This battery doesn't work, so I got to keep it plugged in, but there it is now. It works. Give it a minute, see if it shuts off. As you can see, it hasn't run in a while, so it's going to take a minute to get going. Alright, the fan just kicked on. Everything's working. I don't want any copyright infringements, but I just want to get the computer thinking. And as you can see, it is not shut off yet, which it would normally have done by now as soon as that fan kicked on. Now I can see if I can feel any air blowing through here. Yep. This one doesn't feel as cool. Let's see if we can see that fan running. You can hear it. Well, it's not shutting off. So, I hope this helped you out. Overheating fix. And same way you would change out a fan if the fan wasn't working. If your computer's overheating, give it a shot. Good luck. Any questions? Put them in the comments.